Hello everyone and welcome to our podcast. We are the 3 P's in a Pod cast. I'm Cheska.
I'm Angeli.
And I'm Franchesca.
And today we are going to be having a girl talk podcast. Basically, our topic are conventional and unconventional, even taboo topics about being a girl. So just so we could lighten the mood, how was your day and what did you eat for dinner? My day was pretty normal. It was just trying to catch up with schoolworks because of our long weekend. And I had Shanghai for dinner. How about you, Jen?
Yeah, my day's pretty normal as well. I focused more on house chores today and I had boneless wings for dinner. What about Franchesca?
My day is great, actually, but it's just typical day for me, and I just did household chores and my homeworks in UCSP.
Wow, that's great. Everyone has been chilling lately but still flooded with schoolworks. Okay, so our first topic is about masturbation. My take on masturbation is that it's completely normal and natural for a person to do something in terms of self-pleasure and to explore their body. I think as long as you're safe doing it and research first, make sure that what you're doing is not too intense, especially for your age. But personally for me, I think that masturbation has no age, because I think we shouldn't put malice on it, especially because even little kids, would try it, not knowing the context of it already, but they it's not, but we shouldn't put malice on it. How about you, Jen?
Yeah, like you said, I also think it's quite normal and most of the time it's also safe. It's actually a great way to get to know your body and perhaps the things you feel comfortable with. And like you said, most people will probably do it at some point in their life, but I guess we should just be mindful about how often we do it, because there are cases that it does become some sort of an addiction, which isn't healthy. I'd like to hear from Franchesca too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I think masturbating or touching yourself for sexual pleasure is totally normal, whether you are sexually active with other people. Based on what I have read, masturbation also has health benefits such as stress relief.
That is true. I definitely agree on that. I've read some articles too that it actually has benefits for our health. So yeah, next, because for our second topic we have body hair. My take on body hair as kind of the same as masturbation. It's natural and normal, and it still really depends on a person's preference. If you prefer to shave or to wax or to just let it grow, you do you, as long as you keep in mind the hygiene, because that's still important. Like comparing to our hair on our head, the hair on our head needs maintenance, and I think that the hair on the other regions of our body also need maintenance. So as long as you're comfortable doing something with that part, then go ahead and do it. How about you, Jelly?
I mean, like you said, it's natural and it also comes down to preferences, specifically with our own body. To keep it or not, it's totally up to us. But then again, body hair has its own purposes. For example, the hair on our arm enhances our senses, and then the hair in our lower region is actually there to keep us from bacteria and other diseases. So really, it's not there for no reason at all, but it's also usually safe if you want to get rid of it.
That is true. Okay, what a nice take. How about you, Franchesca?
I agree to both of you. Body hair is just normal. Even if other people usually don't have hair on their armpits and private parts, it is still normal. It's just hair, by the way. There are people who actually make a big deal about having hair in armpit. It is up to you whether you want to remove it or not. Just don't forget hygiene.
so our next topic slash question is virginity. Virginity, my take on that is that virginity is kind of emphasized on women, like its whole controversy like slash topic is like emphasized on women. Like no one really asks about men's virginity like all the time. It's mostly kind of asked to women. I think it's really uncomfortable if you ask that to a woman, like because it's always there's always a connotation about women being pure and having sex after marriage, and I think it's just really uncomfortable if you asked a woman, especially like a teenager or a little girl, if they're still a virgin. I think it's out of your boundaries. So it really depends. I think it's better to ask it if you're in a relationship and you both are comfortable talking about it. But if you're just gonna ask it to like random people or to like your classmates or your friends, make sure to ask nicely first and if they're comfortable before like diving into that topic. How about you, Jel?
I mean, aside from it being a social construct, it's also a general term that could be used for many things. But again, it's mostly associated with intercourse. When it does come to that, for me, it's actually less about losing something, but more on gaining something, which is experience. Physical intimacy shouldn't be taken lightly though, and as long as it's consensual and the party is aware and responsible, I don't see a problem with it. And if you choose not to engage, that's also fine. There are other ways to be intimate with someone without having to be physical with them.
That's true. Okay, next, Franchesca.
In this topic, I believe that virginity is really important and should be valued. Especially in our religion, Islam, virginity is very sacred and for me, virginity is like a gift to the person that destined for you.
Oh yeah, again, like our beliefs and moral system, especially our religion, has a really huge impact on how we view like these sort of perspectives. So that was a really nice take, like taking it in the view of religion. As long as I think that as long as you're comfortable to give it to someone, or if you think you're ready, go ahead and do it. But still think because like having sexual intercourse with someone is such a big deal, just make sure that you are ready. Okay, our next topic is sending nudes. Okay, my take on sending nudes is, of course, it really depends on the context, because some, like, you know, those like issue when like some guys or even some girls would just like randomly send pics of explicit pictures of them, especially to like their crushes or even to like celebrities, and I think that's really creepy. But like sending nudes to like your partner or your boyfriend or girlfriend, especially to your partner in life, especially if you're in marriage, I think it's completely normal and we shouldn't shame anyone who does that. As long as it's consensual and they're comfortable in doing it, then it's their own relationship and we shouldn't mind them. It's not our business. So whatever they do in their relationship stays within them, so we should not shame anyone. And especially about another issue is about exposing like nude pictures and sending them to different people without consent. That is very disgusting, and I hate people who do that, especially if they're gonna do it to a girl. Like it's very, because like even if like scandals and like sending nude pictures, there's a different impact on it if you're a girl who did that, who sent the nude. Still we cannot deny the double standards we have in this society, that even if men do experience it, and of course it's totally valid what they experience, but we cannot also deny that what happens to men, like the discrimination to men, mostly happens to women like 2 times more intense. How about you, Jelly?
Like you said, it's fine, but I would personally advise or choose not to do something like that. But really, when it comes to sending anything that could be considered private, it's important to keep in mind the possible outcomes of it. So make sure if you do choose to send it, it would be with someone you can trust. And for the receiving end of it, please keep in mind that this person trusted you with something personal, and it's not something you should just take lightly and just break. What about you, Franchesca?
In my opinion, sending nudes is depend if the relationship is long distance, I think. If so, I find it more important. But if your partner lives in the same city with you, no, I think it's neither important nor necessary. Well, it's up to them to decide whether to send their nudes or not, as long as they are comfortable with it.
Yes. So let's talk about like our stories. Like I just want to like tell this juicy story in this podcast. Like they used to have a lot of, not a lot though, but like even if it's just few, I feel like it's a lot. There were few girls that got their nudes exposed in our school, like last face-to-face classes, and I felt so bad for them, because like even if they were like walking through the hallways, like guys would like call them names, and it was just, I felt so bad for them, and I wasn't that educated before, so I didn't got to really defend those girls. But now looking back, I feel so sad for them, and I hope that they get justice even, and that the people who like made fun of them and like exposed them would get consequence, because they really just invaded like their whole privacy, and even that it's illegal, like doing what they did, like exposing nudes. So I hope that they're doing fine now, because it was like a big issue in our school before, and even our school, I think like our, what do you call that, like our disciplinary, I don't think that it got to the point that they knew, so they didn't really get like enough advice or enough justice about that issue. So does anyone want to share any story or has something else to say about that topic?
Can I actually share something?
Do you want to share?
Yeah, I want to share something.
Okay, go.
So, I have a male acquaintance actually. He sent one to a girl he really liked, and the girl ended up sharing it with her friends, and they started laughing and insulting his, and it really hurt him to the point that he got really depressed, and I really felt bad for him. But at the same time, he was an online friend, so there's really not much I can do to comfort him. So I guess, we should just be really wary about who we send it to, and value someone's trust. I think it's what we get from this situation.
Yes, like the impact, we don't know what the impact of doing that, because other people think it's just funny, but like at the end of the day, if that were to happen to you, it will be so traumatic. Okay, our next topic to talk about is cheating romantically, or cheating in a relationship. My take on that is that 100% there is no excuse for cheating. If you're in a loving relationship, do not cheat. And if you actually want to leave a relationship, or if you want to have a relationship with another person while having a relationship with your current person, make sure to like have communicate and see what you can do. And if you think that the relationship's not gonna work anymore, then go ahead and leave the relationship. So there really is no excuse. We should just we all need proper communication, and with proper communication, no one would get hurt. So how about you, Jelly?
Yeah, like you said, there's absolutely no valid reason to cheat on someone. Please don't even try to justify it just because your partner cheated on you first. Repeating a wrong doesn't make it a right. And if you're unhappy with a relationship, it's better to properly end things than to give each other more reasons to not trust the other, because it will only lead to more conflicts in the future. What about you, Franchesca?
Cheating can ruin anything that is important to you, even lives, education, and so on. Cheating can also ruin trust. Trust that takes time to build and earn. And in a relationship, if your partner finds out that you are cheating on him or her, the trust that you build together will be destroyed.
That is true. But I have a little something to announce. My laptop is literally going to die in a few seconds. Can I just charge my laptop for just a few seconds? But we're not gonna stop the podcast though. I'm just gonna
Yes, go.
plug it in.
Go.
I'm so sorry. Okay, just wait.
Yeah,
You could chat with
It's
each
fine,
other
go.
while I'm gone for a few seconds, just to keep the podcast ongoing. Go. Okay, our next topic, next to cheating, is body confidence. My take on body confidence is that, as cliche as it sounds, it really is important that you're confident with your body. And I think that a lot of people kind of distorts body confidence, like the essence of it, because sometimes people think that just if you could just be the person, or physically, if you could get the physical thing that you want, like for example you wanna lose weight, as long as you're gonna lose weight, and you're gonna be confident after, that's all. I think that we should really take on the process of being confident. I think that the more genuine and the more healthy way that you process your confidence, the more that you're gonna be genuinely happy about it, because I feel like body confidence is really, really hard to attain, especially right now here in our society, because beauty standards are everywhere, and people are constantly shamed on social media for sharing their pictures, or as long as you don't reach their social standards, they feel like they could judge you, they could comment anything they want. So I think that body confidence really is not just if you sleep at night and then you wish that you'll have body confidence the next day. It's not that easy. You really need to work on being healthy and seeing yourself, accepting who you really are. That's the healthy way of coping or attaining body confidence. How about you, Jelly?
Okay, this one I think it's usually and largely influenced by the media and what the majority would consider as the perfect body, which is kind of stupid because it really doesn't exist. We all have our own preferences, and body confidence, though though it's technically about physical appearance, it actually relies on our mentality. It's about accepting that regardless of the shape of your body or your appearance, as long as you're comfortable with it, as long as you're not hurting yourself with it, it's fine. After all, I think beauty is subjective. I'd like to hear from Franchesca.
I think body confidence can mean different to other people, but based on my knowledge, body confidence is essentially about accepting and loving yourself and your imperfections.
Okay, now that we've heard our takes on body confidence, now let's go ahead. Actually, I've been waiting to talk about this topic. The next topic is abortion. My take on abortion is that abortion is healthcare. I am personally pro-choice, so I believe in and I support in abortion, and I support to legalize it to all countries, especially here in the Philippines, because the logic of people who are pro-life is kind of distorted. For me, their logic is I'm vegan, so you can't eat meat. I feel like we all have different preferences. If you don't want to get an abortion, if you get pregnant, even unwanted pregnancy, then you do you, that's your own body. But you should not tell me to do, you should not tell me to keep, just for example, I had an unwanted pregnancy at a young age. You should not dictate what should I do with that baby, especially if it's a fetus, because I believe that life does not begin at conception. I think it begins when you actually give birth already. So I feel if you're gonna remove the fetus out of your body. It's just like cells, and like if you say that, oh, you're still killing a human being, I feel like so if you're pro-life, are you also against death penalty? Are you also against war? Are you also advocating accessible birth control and having sex education in all schools? Like, you cannot blame people who resort to abortion, especially those little girls who are raped and had experienced incest in sexual intercourse. Like, you really cannot blame them, and we should not shame them. We should support them and give them the easy way out, legalizing abortion. And I feel like if you're pro-life, you should be adopting and fostering, because if you're really intensely pro-life, you should be not distorting it, that you're just like dictating other people's choice within their own body. So at the end of the day, I think it really is about preference. If you do not want to get an abortion, then that's on you. If I want to get an abortion, then that's on me. I'm not hurting anyone, especially your rights. So I am 100% pro-choice, but still it depends on the context, because some people kind of abuse the availability sometimes of abortion, because in some states or in some countries it is legal. So some people kind of abuse it, that they'll engage in sexual intercourse and actually not practice safe sex even though they have the privilege to do so. Then I think I kind of draw the line there. How about you, Jelly?
For me, I mean, if anyone deserves the final word in this matter, it's definitely the person carrying the child. Abortion is quite the heavy decision, and they're the ones who deserve the chance to consider everything that they think that matters, their morals, their values, and everything else. And if at the end of the day it doesn't align with what they think is right and what they stand for, then there's a lighter alternative, which is adoption. There are people out there who would love to welcome someone new into their family. That's all from me.
Okay, your take now, Franchesca.
My perspective on this topic is actually divided into two. Some of me is agreeing, some of me is disagreeing, and I believe that it is depends on the reason. Other people have abortion because they do not want their child to experience the hardship of the world, and I think it is also a valid reason, and it is acceptable for me.
Because especially if like a teenager who lives in poverty and got unwanted pregnancy, of course, because they didn't attend school, so they didn't know sex education, or they don't even know about contraceptives as a whole, then we should really legalize abortion in that sort of manner. Because like, would you really force, or would you rather like a teenager risk their life in pregnancy, and when they do actually deliver the pregnancy successfully, like the baby would live in poverty and just experience the hardships of the world? And people might say, oh, what if that kid grows up to be like the president, or what if that kid grows up to discover the cure of cancer? I think that's too much that you're thinking, because like that's most likely not to happen. What's most likely to happen is that kid to grow into poverty. Okay, so our next topic to talk about is eating disorders. So eating disorder, my take on eating disorder is that as soon as possible, if you think that you have the early stages of developing an eating disorder, go ahead and consult a dietitian or a doctor as soon as you could, because it could lead to a massive problem if you think that just because you're not eating, or because you're trying this diet, that it's not gonna affect you long term. I think that you shouldn't really try those like diets or like intense workout routine that you would see on the internet without consulting anyone professional. How about you, Jelly?
Yeah, I don't think that I'm qualified enough to speak out on this, but for the people who say, just get over it, please stop, because it doesn't work like that. Remember that none of us develop a healthier lifestyle with just a snap of a finger. There will always be a process, and that process includes compromises that need to be done. We have to be willing to take the first step in all of it, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. But again, like you said, it's encouraged to see a professional when it comes to experiencing something like that, because it's different for everyone. That's all.
Okay, how about you, Franchesca?
In this topic, I actually researched about this topic. And I found an article saying that most likely to have an eating disorder are much more common in women and girls, although men and boys can also experience it, but the majority of having this disorder is experienced by females. Perhaps one of the reason I think is because more women are dieting to control their weight, just like you said earlier.
Okay, so our next topic is plastic surgery. My take on plastic surgery as a whole is that if this thing, or if you change this physical thing about yourself, would make you feel confident and would make you feel better about yourself, and you are most importantly consulting a professional that is really reliable in terms, because there are a lot of plastic surgery fails, especially people who wants to change something about themselves physically but who wants to go to the cheaper option. Like, it's not worth it. You should really invest, especially like if you do something physically, if you change something about yourself through surgery, it's really hard to change it again. So really invest in consulting a professional, a really good doctor that is like proven to be effective and to be very knowledgeable in their profession. And also people who shame other people who had plastic surgery, especially women, like it was like, it doesn't hurt you in any way, like their change physically, so it's none of your business. Then just don't talk about it, because it's their money that they use, that they were the one who undergoes surgery and had to experience getting stitches and being cut in a surgery room. So as long as they don't do anything harmful with it, like for example, like one would change their physical appearance because they murdered someone or something like that. As long as the reason behind doing it is pure and the intention is just making you feel confident and you feel comfortable with it, then go ahead and do it. What about you, Jelly?
Personally, it doesn't cross my mind as often, but if you think it'll boost your self-esteem or help you be able to be more confident or comfortable with yourself, then yeah, I don't see a problem going through with it. What about you, Franchesca?
I believe that some people do or go through the procedures of plastic surgery because they want to correct the defects on their face or body to make them more confident about themselves.
Yes, I agree. Like, it's their right and they're not hurting anybody. They're just like doing a surgery that would make them feel good about themselves afterwards, and we should actually support them because they're feeling much more better, they're being more confident, and like if they have like a good self-esteem, then they would also like encourage other people to like have a good self-esteem. Like, if you know, like when you're not insecure, when you're happy with the person you are now, then you're more likely to be more kinder to other people, you're more likely to help other people and encourage them to do whatever they want. So I think that when someone does something that would make them happy, it would actually also make other people happy, because like happiness and like kindness kind of is a cycle, and in the smallest detail will like go and go and go in a long way. So I feel like as long as they don't hurt anyone, and actually another topic I want to talk about is, how do you feel, guys, about people who had done plastic surgery but they kind of deny it? Because my take on it is that it depends, like the reason of like it depends on the reason that they're denying that they had plastic surgery. But I think if they're like a social media influencer or a celebrity, I think like they should really tell the truth, because they're kind of leaving impressions and they're influencing like little girls, so that could like leave an impact to little girls. So how about you, Jelly? Like, how do you think people how do you feel about people who kind of deny plastic surgery, like that they have done something?
I mean,
with
if
their
they
body?
want to deny it, then that's on them. I don't think that I'm in the position to call them out on that. It's their decision if they want to come out with it or if they want to keep it hidden from the public. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay, next, Franchesca.
I think it's up to them whether to reveal it or not. And maybe the reason is also for their safety. So why not? Just, we know the truth, even though they hide it. Just let them be, to their own decision. Just
Yeah, I feel like it's not that big of a deal. Like, we shouldn't really like put too much like effort to like expose them or anything, because like it's their face and they're not doing anything bad. Like, maybe they're just not that ready, but we shouldn't like dive onto their business. Okay, we're actually onto the last topic. So our last topic is gender and sexuality. Okay, so about gender and sexuality, my take is that of course I'm actually in favor in really having to have the Soji bill passed, because like I feel like having no rules, especially like in our law, like for example in our law, when a person like gets married, like for example like a man and a woman, like like first, if like a man and a woman gets married, and for example like the guy experiences like a car accident, and there's like this issue that like when like another, like one of their partner or one of a person's partner would like go into a hospital, like they would need like what do you call that, like a valid like person, I forgot what it's called, but basically like the person that the doctor would
Oh,
or, like,
the emergency contact.
person who is like, yeah, that the emergency contact of this certain person should be like their blood relatives. So if you're not like their wife, like you wouldn't be the emergency contact. And what if like it just feels unfair to like to other genders, especially because like the law does not like the Philippine law does not recognize them, like because like same-sex marriage is still not legalized here in the Philippines, especially if you're gonna have married if you're gonna get married on a Catholic church, like they don't really recognize it. And there are a lot of like what do you call that, like laws that only apply to like heterosexual relation. I mean like to man and the woman relationship. So I feel like it just feels unfair that there's no like certain like specific law to back up like people in a same-sex marriage. How about you, Jen?
When it comes to gender and sexuality, it's definitely more than just what's in between someone's legs and their supposed roles in society. It's about their expression, their attraction, and many other things. To me, one shouldn't be limited when it comes to how they want to carry or present themselves to the outside world. And I know right now it's more tolerated than it is accepted, but to me, as long as they're not hurting anyone in the process, I think it's fine. What about you, Francesca?
I really don't mind people marrying their same sex because it's their happiness, I think. Yeah, and whatever gender or sexuality we have, we still deserve to be respected and to respect others also, despite of our differences in culture or whatever it is.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Like, we shouldn't really, like, we should not discriminate anyone who is in the LGBTQ plus community because like other people like use the Bible as like a reference that it's a sin. But I've actually read something off the internet that there's no literal like verse or like a literal phrase or sentence that there is in the Bible that says that having a same-sex relationship is bad, because the only like literal verse there in the Bible is that the Bible prohibits what do you call that, like when someone, like the predators and like people who likes little kids. I forgot what it's called. Can someone like help me? What do you call that again? Like when a grown,
pedophilia.
Yeah, pedophilia. Like the Bible strongly is against pedophilia, but there's no certain like literal verse that says that the Bible is against same-sex relationships. So I think that people should focus more on different like problems. Like our country has so much problems, like in poverty, in providing, like in poverty and providing like accessible and cheap healthcare. Like the people in LGBTQ plus community are literally just living their lives and doing their jobs and their purpose on the earth. So I think that we shouldn't like really mind, or we should be an ally to them, and we should not mind like their business. Does anyone have more to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I think we just ended our podcast. So that was our last topic. So I really enjoyed this evening talking to you all, and I hope to anyone or to everyone who watched our podcast learned something and had something to take away from our opinions. And does anyone have more to add, or like an ending or parting message?
I just want to say that I hope everyone watching right now or listening right now, has enjoyed or has learned something new, or liked our thoughts and what we shared tonight. That's all.
Okay, thank you. So I guess that's a wrap. And again, we are the 3 Ps in a podcast, and thank you so much for watching and listening to our podcast.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye!